Hello, my name is Alex Mosier. First off, I would like to thank you all for giving me a little bit of time to talk to you today. So now, let's take a second and think about this simple yet kind of abstract concept of time. Time is how we know that we're not going to be late for a meeting, I'm not going to run over on this talk, and we all have a variety of ways to keep track of time. We either check our watches or the cell phones we carry in our pocket. But at a cellular level, our very cells, and the cells of most living organisms, keep track of time themselves, and this is called the circadian clock. The way this clock functions is a rather elegantly beautiful cycle in which positive elements activate negative elements, and in the course of the day, these negative elements re-interact with the positive, stopping this activation. And this all occurs within the 24-hour light dark cycle on Earth. And this sort of keeps track of time. And now all of these, in very time-specific manners, have other interactions and other regulations throughout the cell. The whole purpose of this clock is so that organisms can be a little proactive. They can anticipate the environment rather than constantly reacting, which heightens survival. This is how you know, at a biologic level, of when to start to go to sleep, when's the most optimal time for that, when to do certain activities. But now, with that idea of the circadian clock in mind, let's take a bit of a jump. By a show of hands here, who has been impacted, either directly or indirectly, by a disease such as cancer, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, obesity, psychological disorders such as depression or anxiety? I'm willing to bet all of us, I'll raise my hand, all of us have been impacted by any of these in some way. Now, every one of the diseases that I just listed has been directly linked to a breaking of the circadian clock. Now, you might be wondering, how does a clock break? It's not like a clock on your wall breaking because the battery's dead or a hand got bent, but the hand getting bent is sort of a good way to think about it. All of this is based on these interactions and following a time-specific delay. But every day, very common practices can impact and hinder this clock from functioning properly, which can then lead to any of these plus a slew of other diseases. Now, I know what you might be thinking now. Well, what causes this? What can break the clock? Some of the main factors that have been linked to breaking the circadian clock in humans include excessive exposure to blue light. So checking your email on your cell phone or binge watching something on Netflix late at night can impact the function and effectively break this clock. Excessive consumption of things such as caffeine or alcohol, which again, most people at some point in their lives have been guilty of or have fallen victim of, depending on how you want to look at it, act to break this clock. Constant travel. If you ever notice you feel jet lag traveling from time zone to time zone, it takes your body a lot longer to catch up than you would think it would. It's because you broke the clock. And shift work. People who are working those late nights and then sleeping during the day, which is sort of opposed to how we generally think of society working, never fully feel like they're caught up. They're never fully rested. That's because they're breaking their clock. But now, don't think that it's all doom and gloom, that we're all in a society now that breaks our clock and there's nothing we can do about it. There's plenty of little, just everyday things that can sort of help hinder this problem, hinder the breaking of this clock. So for example, thinking about the blue light problem, that is a simple fix by just monitoring your screen exposure. During the day, everything is fine. Yes, you'll still have your other problems such as sore eyes and everything, but just at night, taking a minute, stepping away from your phone, putting yourself in the kind of dark room, getting back to that sort of natural sleep state can help you avoid that breaking of the clock. Monitoring and being aware of what you're consuming in your day-to-day life and making sure to dilute it out with water here and there can help stop this chronic exposure to things such as caffeine and alcohol that will break your clock. Jet lag, there's plenty of available apps that can help actually reset and keep your clock on time. And that just comes from exposing yourself to proper light at proper times to avoid the problems associated with this. So now, we all are aware of time and how it dictates our lives. And I hope at this point, we're all sort of aware of our circadian clocks now and how important that is at a cellular level for us. Now, everyone's sort of caught up on some of the problems that can come from breaking your clock, but it's also been shown that it's not that difficult to reset and fix. So with these common everyday problems, we can help fight a lot of these health problems that are plaguing our society today. But don't think that that's the end of it. We still have plenty of work and research to do, especially for people in big cities who are chronically exposed to light, and especially blue light from signs and things, and people, roughly 1/3 of the population, who's subjected to shift work. So now if you found any of this interesting, please understand that there is no shortage of research out there that's readily accessible that you can dig into. Circadian biology is a sort of emerging subfield that has fascinating work in everything from human health to the future of biofuels and everything in between. So if you found any of this interesting, or whatever aspect of biology that you find fascinating, there's a path to take you down with circadian biology. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.